Welcome to the world of Generation Alpha, the ever-evolving language of Generation Alpha, where every word is a vibe. We often encounter such conversations, be it parents, educators, and even teenagers. And with me, it's far more devastating if I do not have a translator next to me. And I don't know why this clicker also belongs to Generation Alpha. It's not understanding my language to move next. Great. Good evening, everyone. Hello, fellow thinkers. My name is Ankita Puri, and I thank you all for joining me today in my TEDx journey. I intend to connect with each one of you today to get your conscious attention towards an important trait, which is an emotion-related, there you go. This is an emotion-related stuff called emotional resilience. I am not going to play with my clicker, and I want all the audience to have attention here what I'm saying. In my journey to becoming an Amazon best-selling author, I spent enough time doing extensive research, talking to exhaustive hours with different focus groups, and I got inspired from there to bring this most important behavioral topic, which is the concern for today, and it really needs a conscious efforts of nurturing. And that's what I call, my friends, as emotional resilience. Before we deep dive into the subject, it is important for some of us here who are still not sure what this Generation Alpha is all about. Well, this is the generation which was born between 2010 and 2024. As claimed by McCradle, which you see on the screen, this is the largest generation ever in the mankind. They come with a lot of traits. However, it is important for us to know some very unique traits which differentiate them from the rest. They have seen the unprecedented time. They believe in embracing diversity. They believe in inclusivity. Thanks to them, they are born with a heart of a conscious mind towards environment to save the planet. Not just that, their successors are also there. The beta generation, which kick-started this year and will go until 2039. They're also going to be called as AI generation. The best part about these two generations is they are independent learners, which clearly means that since the information is available in abundance online, their pace of learning is not going to be recovered through our traditional lectures. They are the ones who believe in gamifications, and they are self-motivated to learn faster and faster. Now look at it. What you see on the screen is the era where I lived, and most of us must have. Before Generation Alpha, there was one world. We all used to watch same show which was aired at the same time. Leave aside those couple of service providers, of course. Why am I mentioning this here? Is because by the time this generation was evolving, there was a parallel world which was also getting created, the world of technology. Technology was booming in. The iPads, the Instagram, the Facebook, they were all entering into the digital space. There was a revolution which was happening at that time. I have seen the transformation from TV programs to the streaming programs, the broadcaster streaming channels across. All this has happened is what you see. Now, because of because of this transition which is happening, the generation alpha is spending a lot of time on social media. That's where they're socializing. For them, if they have to express the emotion today, that's not what they're gonna write. I'm happy I'm talking to you today. I will use the 5-letter word happy. But if it's generation alpha, this is what they will write. If they're very happy, please add 2 to 3 more smileys onto it, because their expressions are expressed within the confined world of emojis. Try and go back and look at one of the chats today and try to decode what are they talking, what are they expressing. And I can feel you after that. What do you feel? For them, handling emotions because of being on social media for a long time is a challenge. It's a drawback. For them, they cannot hold an emotion for a longer time. And hence, the feelings fades out early. And it is not challenging to say that they do have a weak emotional quotient. Their emotions are super fragile. Anyways, there are many concerning traits related to this generation alpha. There are concerns, people are talking about it. I'm gonna keep it aside for the time being. Like, for example, there are screenagers. Yes, they do spend time on screens. They are less social. Yes, because they're mostly available on social media. They're very comfortable in the virtual world, unlike others. So these are the concerns people are expressing to this generation. Let us spotlight to something which is far more concerning and a pressing issue at hand. Now give me a nod. How many of you have heard this for the first time, that the future workplace is unpredictable? I'm sure none of us. We have heard this many times, maybe a couple of minutes before. That's where the real concern lies, that how do we prepare our children, our students, for a future which is unpredictable. Now let's understand, why are we calling the future as unpredictable future? Of course, future has to give some kind of a predictions. We are not able to predict it. Why? The AI bots are becoming far more accessible. They are being adopted worldwide. The augmented reality, the virtual reality, they are also taking a rise. Now, at this moment, when such a thing are happening, when so much of technology is taking the charge, there comes an element which is bringing concerns. When you say that you are having a concern, I think we skipped the slide there. Yes. Look at the slides. As per the World Economic Forum, 65% of future jobs do not exist yet. So what are we preparing for? What skills are we trying to imbibe? What are we training them on? We don't know. We are yet to unfold, navigate, figure out what skills are required. And that's where the ambiguity kicks off. That's where the concern kicks off. As per the report by McKinsey, which you see on the screen, 30% of job will be automated by 2030. The overwhelming presence of automation leads to isolation and distractions. Not to forget, the gig economy is also significantly rising, which clearly means there are a lot of acceptance to short-term jobs, part-time jobs, freelancers, and small projects. All of this is being supported eventually because these are winding up in matter of snaps. When such a thing happens, it is super important to have a control or acquired skills of emotional resilience. We cannot ignore the fact that post-pandemic, hybrid or virtual working is a norm accepted worldwide. So why am I picking up these examples here, dear friends? Because all of this is leading to a common concern zone, wherein we require to train this generation to be more adaptable, to know how to balance their emotions, and at the same time, they should know how to proceed from the scratch maybe more than once. And all of this is required and is declared that we don't know how are we going to train them. So the solution recommended by experts is the skill-based training will be available every time, all the time, without giving a commitment of success, ever, for everyone. But that will be a tool which you will be utilizing to survive. But to thrive, you really need to have something called emotional resilience. So again, going back to the same question, how do we prepare our children to thrive through this unpredictable future? The answer lies in emotional resilience. We'll go by definition. The definition of emotional resilience by books, by Google, or by dictionary is your capability to handle a situation, respond to crisis in your life. A child who is resilient will be always having an approach to look inward, to find out its own strength, to find out the qualities which are needed at that very moment. A child who is resilient has already undergone the practices of how to remain positive, how to remain calm, and how to come up strategies to cope up with the solution. But creating that resilient child today is a long bridge to walk. And it does require a lot of conscious attention and conscious efforts by a complete ecosystem. So let me tell here, if you are a parent, I see a lot of parents sitting here, and most of you are parent to this generation. So if you are a parent, it is very important for you to start building up reflection activities at your home. There are a lot of activities, there are a lot of tools which are available today. But what is important is your effort to bring those activities into action. What you see on the screen is a jar of appreciation. A simple method of reminding the child, you've done a good job. Throughout the day, throughout the week, there has to be opportunity when the child got a round of applause, maybe a thumbs up, maybe pat on the back, or just a smiling gesture from the favorite teacher. These are the moments of appreciation. We call it small little wins. It is important to save that feeling. Write it down on a piece of paper and put it in the jar the very same day. And over the weekend, sit down, talk to your child, reflect, recall that moment. Let the child name that feeling. Yes, I remember. I lent my pencil to my fellow classmate, and teacher gave me a round of applause for helping and sharing. We through reflection, we imbibe good feelers in the minds of youngsters. And how does it help for a longer run? It's a question you should ask. When they grow up, when the time is tough, God forbidden there is a devastating loss, and they have to start from scratch, the first thing their trained mind will say, let's pick small wins. It's okay, we have gone through a major loss, but today is a day when I have to find one win. Tomorrow there might be two, and eventually the child will start raising back again from scratch. So reflection tool is super important as a parent. But let me tell you, allow them to fail also. Failure is a learning curve. If they fail, you cannot penalize them because they fail. You have to sit down, create a learning curve, and encourage them for a reattempt with a better performance. The 2 points which I just mentioned for parents, especially sitting here, it's a doable task. But I'm telling you, I'm a parent myself. The last point, which is model resilience, is a big challenge. It's a super big challenge. I don't want you to think a moment months ago or weeks ago. Just rewind your life 4 hours back. When you were driving to reach this venue and you realized you might be late. You might have been crossed by another driver, a fellow car driver, without giving an indicator, or you might have done the same just to catch the exit. Or something similar. That was the moment of crisis. You were stuck in a situation wherein either you would have abused, you would have shouted, or you would have sat the rest of the path grumbling in the car. That was resilience. That was your response. You have to model your response in such a way that the child learns from you, okay, such a situation will also come and I have to respond the way my parent did. So this is just a small example wherein how you model resilience, because even your life is challenging today, but you are under a lot of observation. Moving on to the audience, if you are an educator, then congratulations, because you have a world of opportunities to train the students through lessons and make them resilient child. What you see on the screen is one of my favorites, the OOPS masterpiece. This is a very commonly used activity, which is also a growth mindset activity, they call it. With due respect to Sir Barney, who actually designed, he is a famous author, he has written many books for children, and this theme is you have to make from your mistakes. So it's very simple. Just ask your child to draw a straight line without any gadget of a scale or anything linear. And for sure, it will not be an exact straight line, but that doesn't mean that he failed or she failed. Now, whatever you have drawn, create another structure out of it. And that's called creating a solution out of your mistakes. Finding out the best out of your mistakes which you have already done. I am here with a very mature audience, so I need not to emphasize more the benefits. The only major benefit which comes out of such an activity is that when in future these children are faced with failures, they can design a cope-up strategy, which will be creative, which will be momentary, but it's going to be the best fitted strategy at that time because they practiced their brain throughout, through such activities which are growth mindset activities. I want to give another example in the next slide, wherein the educator can help the students to do the management of their emotions. The biggest challenge this generation is facing is they don't know, they can't name the emotion. For them, the emotions are emojis. So they can't name, they cannot identify what's happening, what is the name of this emotion, what am I feeling right now. So there's a very beautiful tool called Wheels of Feeling. It's available online. It has got 6 different groups of your emotions. Let the child start learning about the emotions and relate. Yes, this is exactly what I'm feeling right now, miss. And once you do that, there is a beautiful table in front of you on the screen which says that for every emotion, what could be a possible distraction and what could be a possible cope-up strategy. Because when they define their emotions, they now need to practice the cope-up strategy. So if I am sad, I'm mad right now, I'm not sad, I'm mad right now, what is happening inside me? Miss, my cheeks are turning red, I'm furious. Okay, would you like to go out and play basketball? No, miss, it's very hot outside. No problem. Would you like to go and draw something? Or would you like to go and read something? There are ways to distract the emotion, and when you do that, the cope-up strategies start shaping up. That chart is a very beautiful chart. You can easily figure it out and train your children, train your students specifically to be the resilient child. There is a lot to talk about it, but the emphasis will be on practice and practice. So let me tell you, the idea worth sharing is to acknowledge, yes, there is a concern. A resilient child will always be ready to face the world, provided we are working hard on them today. Your efforts will nurture a generation which is stable, which is resilient, and has a very promising career and a very promising livelihood. Having said that, it is important for all of us to read out not just the success stories of their role models, but even the failures of their role models, so that they should understand that this is a part of life. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the parents, the educators, and the teenagers, it is important first to understand them. So what should we do? Let's mirror them and not mock them for their language. Because this language is the gateway to their world. Once you are inside the world, you can build that trust. You can show that you care for them. So embrace their language. Be a part of their conversation. And then you can create a complete learning system of inclusivity. Let us remember, the future lies in sustainable life, sustainable heart, and nurtured mind, which should be nurtured today. And as the saying goes, if you cannot predict the future, create it. You got the power to create it. On this note, thank you very much and happy nurturing.